All right, people. So this weekend we got Kell Brook facing off against Carson Jones. I think it's a good fight. It's a good test for Brook right now. I'm still a skeptic of Kell Brook. I still don't see what people are seeing in him. Maybe he'll show me in this fight. Kell Brook is a guy who people say is really fast, but I don't see that speed. Amir Khan is fast. Manny Pacquiao is fast. Floyd Mayweather is fast. Andre Berto is fast. Even Devon Alexander is fast. Kell Brook is not fast. You understand? Like, he don't have hand speed like those guys. So he's not one of the fastest welterweights or anything like that. You understand? He's got above average hand speed, but that's about it. There's nothing special about his hand speed. He don't have blistering speed or nothing like that. They say that he's got power. Well, he might have power, but he's not really landing those, devastating punches in most of his fights. He tends to wear guys down rather than take them out and blast them away. So I don't really see the power yet either. He's not like a young David Haye. When David Haye was a young cruiserweight, he was knocking people out left, right, and center. You understand? But Kell Brook ain't really doing that. And, they like to compare Kell Brook to Prince Nassim because obviously they're from the same gym. But I think I know, Prince Nassim himself being very gracious and, trying to give Kell Brook confidence. He even compares Kell Brook to himself. But I think it's ridiculous. I think Prince Nassim was 1,000 times more talented than Kell Brook at the same stage of his career. I mean, Prince Nassim was incredible talent, incredible puncher. The way that he moved and his speed and agility and reflexes, and he was just completely different kind of talent to Kell Brook. I got nothing against Kell Brook. I hope he goes on to be one of the greatest fighters of all time. Do you understand? I got nothing against him. I always big up these young talents. You understand? And I give respect where respect is due. But I'm just trying to see through all the hype. Do you get what I'm saying? And there's a lot of hype around Kell Brook here in the UK. People making him out to be this amazing, incredible talent. I just don't see it yet. I think he's a decent, solid prospect, but I ain't seen nothing special about him. You know what I mean? They call him Special K. I don't see the special. I just see, a decent prospect, but nothing amazing. What I do see is someone that throws good straight punches and someone that has a good jab and is physically strong. In the fights that I've seen Kell Brook in so far, he's managed to basically intimidate his opponents with strength, maybe punching power. I don't know, because he hasn't really been knocking people out like that. But just because someone don't have a lot of knockouts don't necessarily mean they don't have tremendous punching power. They just might not have the skill to land the shots or the work rate or whatever. You understand? But, from what I've seen of him, he obviously intimidates his opponents somehow, whether it's with physical strength or punching power or, the accuracy of his straight shots or his jab, whatever it may be. He's able to intimidate his opponents and keep them in their place throughout the course of a fight. I've never seen anyone attack Kell Brook yet. Yeah, no one's gone at him yet. And Carson Jones might be the first guy to do it. Right, so we might find out something new in this fight. I've looked at Carson Jones. I didn't really know much about him before this fight, to be honest. So, I went on YouTube and looked up a few of his fights and saw what I thought of him. And Carson Jones he's pretty decent. You know what I mean? He's pretty decent. He's nothing special himself, but he's pretty decent. I know he's got a lot of losses on his record, but that was early in his career where, he was basically thrown in with much more experienced fighters than himself. You understand? And it can happen. Just because someone has got a lot of losses early in their career, you can't write them off. You know what I mean? You look at Salido, you know what I mean, in the low weight divisions, he was like that as well. You get me? He was thrown to the wolves early in his career, but he's proved to be a decent, world-class fighter in the long run. You understand? So I definitely wouldn't write Carson Jones off. I think this is an interesting fight. Carson Jones he can punch pretty good. He's wily, he's talented, and both these guys are young. I think both of them are around 24, 25 years old. So, and there's no love lost in this fight. Neither guy likes each other. So I think there's a fairly good chance of a knockout in this fight. I know Dwyer is picking a KO. He thinks this fight will not go the distance, and I can see why, because they're both young and they're both, ambitious, and there's a lot of needle in there. There's a lot of bad blood. So you can imagine that both guys will be going for the knockout. So, there's a fairly decent chance of it ending before the 12 rounds or whatever. But I actually think if I had to bet on this fight, I would actually bet on a 12-round fight. You know what I mean? I think the most likely outcome would be that it goes to points. I know Carson Jones has been wobbled and shook up in quite a few fights, but to me, he seems very savvy, and he seems to know what to do when he's hurt, because he's been in that situation before, whereas Kell Brook hasn't. No one's really took it to Kell Brook before. No one's been able to, land solid shots on him to hurt him and put him under any pressure. You understand? So we might see that in this fight here against Carson Jones. I think Kell Brook should be able to control most of the action with his straight shots from the outside. But if Carson Jones is able to bob and weave and, somehow get on the inside, I think Carson Jones might even be a shade taller than Kell Brook. I don't know what the reaches are offhand. But, Kell Brook definitely throws the better straight shots than Carson Jones. But at the same time, Kell Brook, he don't have the greatest work rate I've ever seen. And he fights with his head in the air all the time. You know what I mean? His chin is in the air. He's very exposed for a guy that can, duck underneath those straight shots and come up with hooks. So, if Carson Jones manages to get Brook on the inside, I wouldn't be surprised if Brook got knocked out in this fight. You know what I mean? I really wouldn't be surprised if he ended up getting knocked out, because his inside game leaves a lot to be desired. You know what I mean? He don't really seem that good on the inside. But if he can keep it at a long range and intimidate Jones with that strength or power, whatever it is, and keep him in his box, then he should be able to take a decision, even if it's a controversial decision. They're fighting in Kell Brook's home country, so he should be able to take a decision. He might be able to knock Jones out, but from what I've seen of Brook, he's not really that great a finisher. You understand? He's not really that great a finisher. But like I said, Brook might show me things in this fight that I ain't seen of him before. This might be the test that he needs to bring the best out of him, to make me a believer. But so far, I'm still a skeptic of Kell Brook. And like I said, if I had to go for any outcome in this fight, I would take a Kell Brook 12-round decision. And if I was betting, if I was betting, I would take Kell Brook to win a decision. And as Dwyer says, I would straddle, or hedge that bet against Carson Jones by knockout. Because I do think he's got a fair chance of a knockout in this fight if he can get on the inside. Because Brook, like I say, he holds his head up very high. His chin is in the air. And, even Matthew Hatton was able to catch him pretty flush. But, Matthew Hatton can't punch. So, Carson Jones hits a lot harder than Matthew Hatton. So if he can manage to catch him, you might see Brook go down and might see the prospect get exposed. But we'll have to wait and see. But I think if I had to go for a scenario, my most likely outcome would be Kell Brook to win a decision in this fight. Because I think Carson Jones has probably got enough savvy, even if he gets hurt and has to change his strategy, he's probably got enough savvy to see out the 12 rounds. Yeah, that's how I see it anyway. So let me know what you lot think. And before I go, I just want to big up a couple of channels here on YouTube that don't really get, the attention they deserve. Especially the first channel is Apollo James Jackson. He's a young man who goes around interviewing boxers, trainers, fight figures here in the UK and also in America. I know he's based in the UK. He's based in the UK, but he also goes to America. And not only does he interview fighters, he also spars with the fighters and films it. You understand? So he sparred with people like Kelly Pavlik, Brandon Rios, John McDermott, all kind of different people. So make sure you go over right now to Apollo James Jackson. I'll leave an annotation link on the screen right now, so you can just click on that and go check out Apollo James Jackson's channel. Subscribe to him. He does great videos. I don't know why he don't have a lot more subscribers than he has. You get me? There's no one else in the UK doing what he does. Going around interviewing so many people. sparring with fighters. No one else is doing what he does, so he definitely deserves more followers and more props for what he's doing. So big up Apollo James Jackson, and also big up Bay Lorick. You know, he does YouTube boxing prediction videos. He also does a lot of videos on cricket. I know he's a cricket coach, so anyone that's interested in cricket, you know, you can go over to Bay Lorick's channel. I'll also leave an annotation link on the screen for that. So big up Bay Lorick as well. Who else? Big up Errol Jarrett. Errol Jarrett does a lot of good promotional type of videos, you know what I mean? Compilations of different fighters, you get me, from past and present, prospects and all-time greats and all those type of things. So big up Errol Jarrett as well. He does a lot of good videos. So yeah, man, a lot of the smaller channels that really should be getting exposure, they're putting in work, a lot more work than me. You know, it's like these days you get a video from me once every couple of weeks. So big up the channels who are still active, especially the ones who are doing great videos like the ones I mentioned. So yeah, I'm taking Kell Brook anyway to win this fight, probably on a 12-round decision, but don't be surprised if there's an upset, because Kell Brook's never been tested yet. And if Kell Brook blows Carson Jones away in impressive fashion, I'll definitely give him all the props in the world. I'm still kind of skeptical about Kell Brook, but this might be the fight where he makes me a believer. You know, we'll see anyway. So yeah, this is Hatman. I'm out.